The First Blush. Chapter 1. The sun dipped low over the rolling hills of the vineyard, casting a golden glow across the rows of grapevines that stretched endlessly into the horizon. The sky was painted in soft hues of lavender and blush, the last remnants of daylight clinging to the clouds. A light breeze carried the scent of ripening fruit and freshly turned earth, mingling with the faint perfume of wildflowers that bordered the estate. It was the perfect setting for a wine-themed bachelorette party, and Mia had outdone herself. The luxurious vineyard, nestled in the picturesque countryside, was the epitome of elegance and sophistication, with just a touch of whimsy. Twinkling string lights wove through the trellises, and a cobblestone path led to a charming terrace that overlooked the vast, sprawling estate. The gentle murmur of laughter and clinking glasses from other guests only added to the magical ambience. A sleek black SUV pulled up to the entrance, and as the doors opened, Alexis stepped out, her eyes widening with delight. Dressed in a flowing white sundress that hinted at her bridal glow, she took a deep breath, savoring the crisp evening air. "Mia, this is incredible!" she exclaimed, her voice tinged with awe. Mia grinned, satisfied with the reaction. She had spent weeks planning this weekend, ensuring every detail was perfect for her best friend's celebration. "Only the best for you, Lex," she said, linking her arm with Alexis's. "Tonight is all about you, and trust me, we have plenty of surprises in store." Lily and Sophia followed close behind, their laughter carrying through the tranquil landscape. Lily, ever the reserved one, adjusted her scarf nervously, but smiled warmly at the sight of the vineyard. "I feel like we just stepped into a movie," she murmured, taking it all in. Sophia, on the other hand, was already snapping photos, her adventurous spirit fully embracing the moment. "You guys, this lighting is perfect," she announced, angling her phone for a candid shot of Alexis. "Lex, give me that dreamy bride-to-be look." Alexis rolled her eyes playfully but obliged, tilting her head and flashing a radiant smile. "Am I doing this right?" she teased. "Absolutely," Sophia confirmed. "Now let's get some wine in our hands." As they approached the main terrace, a host dressed in a crisp white shirt and tailored vest greeted them with a warm smile. "Welcome, ladies," he said, gesturing toward a private seating area adorned with delicate floral arrangements and flickering candles. "We have a special tasting prepared for you this evening. If you'll follow me, we'll get started." The group gasped in unison as they took in the breathtaking setup. A long wooden table was set beneath a pergola draped in ivy, the place settings adorned with elegant name cards and small bottles of rosé as favors. An assortment of artisanal cheeses, fresh fruits, and rustic baguettes were artfully arranged on wooden boards, accompanied by crystal glasses waiting to be filled with the vineyard's finest selections. "This is unreal," Lily whispered, her fingers tracing the edge of a wine glass. "To Alexis," Mia declared, lifting her glass high. "To love, laughter, and a lifetime of happiness," Alexis added, her voice brimming with gratitude. Their glasses met with a soft chime, and as they sipped the first blush of sparkling wine, the evening unfolded with the promise of unforgettable memories ahead. Chapter 2. The wine tasting session was, without a doubt, the highlight of the evening. The sommelier, a charismatic man with a smooth voice and a deep passion for wine, guided them through an exquisite selection of reds, whites, and blends, each with its own story, its own history, steeped in the sun-drenched vines of the vineyard. They sipped, swirled, and savored, allowing the delicate flavors to dance across their palates. With each pour, their inhibitions loosened, their laughter grew louder, and their conversation flowed more freely. They reminisced about the past, about failed high school crushes, disastrous first dates, and spontaneous road trips that had somehow turned into lifelong memories. "I still can't believe we slept in a gas station parking lot that one time," Lily said between fits of laughter. "Hey, we were broke, exhausted, and it was a 24-hour place with clean bathrooms," Sophia pointed out, raising her glass in mock defense. Mia grinned. "That was the same trip Alexis nearly got us kicked out of a diner for arguing with the waitress about the proper way to make pancakes." Alexis rolled her eyes, but she was laughing too. "Okay, but in my defense, they were doing it wrong." As the evening stretched on, the warmth of the wine settled over them like a soft embrace. The vineyard's golden glow had deepened into twilight, the sky a breathtaking wash of indigo and silver. The air hummed with a quiet magic, the kind that only came from perfect nights shared with people who truly knew your soul. It was during a lull in the conversation that Mia, ever the bold one, leaned forward, a mischievous glint in her eye. She rested her elbows on the table, her fingers playing idly with the stem of her wine glass. "Okay, ladies," she began, her voice teasing but firm. "I have an idea." Lily eyed her warily. "That usually means trouble." Mia smirked. "No, no, this is a good one. Since we're already in the mood for reminiscing, let's share our first orgasm stories. To really bond and celebrate Alexis's last days of being single." The reaction was immediate. Lily's cheeks turned an impressive shade of pink as she let out a soft squeak. Sophia arched a perfectly sculpted eyebrow, looking intrigued rather than shocked. Alexis, caught mid-sip, nearly choked on her wine, coughing as she set her glass down with wide eyes. "Mia," Alexis said once she recovered, shaking her head with a half-amused, half-exasperated laugh. "You're unbelievable." Mia shrugged, her grin never fading. "Come on, it'll be fun. And it's not like we haven't shared everything else already." Lily let out a nervous giggle, while Sophia gave an exaggerated sigh of acceptance. Alexis groaned, but she was smiling, the wine having already worked its way into her bloodstream, dissolving any resistance she might have had. After a moment, Sophia leaned forward, swirling the wine in her glass as she spoke with a smirk. "All right, I'll go first," she announced, her voice hushed but teasing, like she was letting them in on a scandalous secret. "It was my freshman year of college, and let's just say, I had no idea what I was missing out on until then." Lily, still blushing furiously, covered her face with both hands. "Oh my God, Sophia!" Sophia shrugged, feigning innocence. "Hey, we're doing this, right? Your turn, Alexis." Alexis groaned, picking up her glass and downing a large sip of wine before setting it down with dramatic finality. "Fine, but you all owe me for this." She launched into her story, sending the table into fits of laughter. What started as playful hesitancy quickly turned into full-blown confessions. Each story met with gasps, giggles, and the occasional playful shriek. They leaned into each other, their walls completely down, the wine and warmth of their friendship wrapping around them like the coziest of blankets. The vineyard's tranquil atmosphere, once marked by soft murmurs and clinking glasses, was now filled with the sound of their uninhibited joy. By the time they had all gone around, their stomachs ached from laughter, their cheeks sore from smiling. There was something incredibly freeing about sharing something so intimate, not in a way that was scandalous or shocking, but in a way that deepened their connection, an unspoken acknowledgement that they had grown together, from nervous teenagers, fumbling their way through firsts, to confident women who owned their experiences. Mia raised her glass again, her eyes shining under the twinkling string lights. "To friendship," she said, her voice filled with something deeper than just affection. It was gratitude, reverence, love. "To friendship," the others echoed, their voices blending together in harmony. Underneath the vast starlit sky, they knew. This was a night they would never forget. Chapter 3. Lily went first, her voice soft but steady, her fingers idly tracing the rim of her wine glass. "It was with my high school boyfriend," she began, her cheeks tinged with pink. "We were both so nervous, like we were trying to follow an invisible rule book we'd never actually read." She let out a small, wistful laugh. "It wasn't perfect. Actually, it was kind of awkward. But there was something exhilarating about it. We were so wrapped up in each other in the feeling of discovering something new together. It was sweet." Sophia, as expected, took a bolder approach. She leaned forward, her dark eyes gleaming with mischief. "Mine was at a music festival," she said, swirling the wine in her glass, before taking a slow sip. "Hot summer night, stars overhead, a tent that was definitely not soundproof." She grinned as the others gasped and giggled. "It was spontaneous, a little reckless, okay, very reckless. But it was so freeing. There was something about the music still pulsing in the distance, the feeling of being completely in the moment. No overthinking, no expectations. Just raw, electric energy." Mia sighed dramatically. placing a hand over her heart. Now, mine was straight out of a romance novel, she declared, her voice dripping with nostalgia. College boyfriend, soft candlelight, music playing. He even asked if I was okay like a dozen times. She smiled, the memory clearly a fond one. It wasn't just about the physical part. It was all about the connection. I felt cherished. They all turned to Alexis, who had been sipping her wine with an amused expression, her eyes twinkling with mischief. She set her glass down, a sly smile playing at her lips. Well, she drawled, drawing out the suspense. Mine was with a vibrator. For a split second, there was silence, and then the table exploded with laughter. What? Mia nearly choked, clutching her stomach as she laughed. Sophia smacked the table. Oh my God, Alexis! Lily, always the composed one, turned an even deeper shade of pink but couldn't contain her giggles. Alexis lifted her hands in mock surrender, her own laughter bubbling up. I was curious, okay? And let's just say it was educational. She took another sip of wine, raising an eyebrow. Honestly, zero regrets. Mia wiped a tear from the corner of her eye, still shaking her head. You win, hands down. The laughter continued, weaving between them like golden threads, binding them even closer. It spilled into the cool night air, carrying across the vineyard, mingling with the distant hum of conversation and the rustling of leaves in the breeze. And in that moment, beneath the soft glow of string lights and the lingering taste of wine on their lips, they weren't just friends. They were something more, sisters in spirit, keepers of each other's stories, bound by love, laughter, and memories that would last a lifetime. Chapter 4. As the evening wore on, the playful energy of their stories softened into something more reflective. The warmth of the wine, the golden glow of the candles, and the intimacy of their shared confessions wove a cocoon around them. Their laughter settled into quiet smiles, and the conversation drifted into something deeper, something unspoken yet understood between them. They spoke about how those early experiences had shaped them, not just in love, but in life. How they had learned to embrace their desires without shame, to stand up for what they wanted, to know their worth. They shared moments of heartbreak, of self-discovery, of times they felt powerful and times they had felt small. I used to think love had to look a certain way, Lily admitted, her voice soft but sure, like a perfect, scripted romance. But I've realized that love, real love, isn't about fitting into a mold. It's messy, unpredictable, and completely different for everyone. Sophia nodded, tipping her glass toward Lily in agreement. And sometimes it's not about love at all. Sometimes it's just about knowing yourself, learning what makes you feel alive. Mia exhaled a small laugh, tilting her head as she swirled the wine in her glass. And sometimes it's about realizing you deserve more than you thought. I think back to my first, and it was sweet, yeah. But now I know how much more there is. She smirked playfully. Experience is a hell of a teacher. Alexis listened, her heart full. She had always known these women were special, but tonight she felt it in her bones. The weight of years of friendship, of shared joys and struggles, settled over her like a soft blanket. I wouldn't trade this, she said, her voice quiet but certain. Any of it. The lessons, the mistakes, the growth, and especially not you guys. A gentle hush fell over the table, the kind that only comes from true understanding. Mia smiled, lifting her glass. To friendship, she said, her voice filled with warmth. To friendship, the others echoed, their glasses meeting in the soft, flickering candlelight. Their voices blended together in perfect harmony. A toast, not just to the night, but to the years behind them, and the ones still to come. And as the wind carried their laughter through the vineyard, it felt like a promise, one sealed in wine, in memories, and in the unshakable bond they shared. Chapter 5. The night ended with the friends strolling back to their accommodations, arms linked and hearts full. The vineyard had quieted. The distant hum of conversation from other guests now faded into the whisper of the wind through the vines. Above them, the sky stretched vast and endless, a deep indigo canvas scattered with stars. The scent of earth and grape leaves lingered in the cool night air, and the rhythmic crunch of gravel beneath their feet was the only sound breaking the peaceful silence. They walked slowly, as if unwilling to let the night end too soon. The warmth of the evening still clung to their skin, not just from the wine, but from something deeper, something unspoken yet understood. They had laughed until their sides ached, shared secrets they hadn't spoken aloud in years, and in doing so had strengthened a bond that already felt unbreakable. Lily sighed contentedly. I don't think I've ever felt so present, she murmured. Sophia nodded, tilting her head back to gaze at the stars. Me neither. Nights like this, they're rare, the kind you remember forever. Mia, ever the one to lighten the mood, grinned. And the kind that need to be repeated. I say, we make this a tradition. Alexis chuckled, but felt a lump form in her throat. She stopped walking for a moment, letting her gaze sweep over the women beside her. Friends who had been there through heartbreak and triumph, who had lifted her up in ways they would never fully realize. She took a breath, her voice soft but steady. Thank you. The others turned to look at her. For what? Lily asked gently. For this, Alexis said, gesturing at the vineyard, at the stars, at the invisible thread that tied them all together. For being here. For making tonight perfect. Mia wrapped an arm around her shoulder, pulling her into a playful side hug. Always, Lex. Sophia smiled. To friendship. To us, Lily added, her voice full of warmth. And they held on to the moment, letting it settle between them like the last sip of wine at the bottom of a glass. Bittersweet, lingering, perfect. And it was.